In this tutorial, I will show you how to configure your system so that delegates can upload submissions. On step 1 of this workflow, I ask you to review the important dates for your submissions. You provided these dates to us already when you were configuring your conference, so at this time we would just like you to review the dates that you chose. The first date is when submissions will open. The second date is the date on which delegates will no longer be able to submit abstracts. Once you're done with this step and you're happy with your dates, choose Done to move to the next step. In the next step, we ask you about the affiliation of authors. When adding submissions, we can ask authors to provide either the name of their affiliation or their full affiliation address. We think names look neater, but we also know that some conferences will want the full address to be displayed in their book of abstracts and proceedings. So it's up to you to choose whether you want the affiliation or the address. Once you're happy with your selection, choose Done to move to step 3. In step 3, we ask you about the type and format of what your submissions will be. The type, will you be accepting papers or abstracts? And in format, we want to know, will you be accepting oral and poster? If you want, you can add new ones down here, something. And if you want to enable or disable, you can do so by checking on our green little checkboxes. Once you're happy with your types and formats, you can move to the next step. In step 4, we ask you about conference tracks and whether or not you will support them. Some large conferences divide their event into tracks. A track is like a sub-conference running under the main conference umbrella and is usually only applicable to really big conferences. If you're not sure, we recommend that you disable tracks, but if you need to enable them, you simply choose Enable Tracks and provide us with the names of your tracks. We suspect you'll have maybe 3 or 4. For now, I'm going to disable tracks. Once you're happy with your track suggestions, you move to the next step by clicking Done. Step 5, we ask you about topics. First of all, we ask you, how many topics will an author be required to provide? Will they be required to provide just one topic, or will they be provided up to a maximum of whatever number you choose? In this case, I'll choose 3. Below, we ask you to provide the topics that will be applicable to your conference, and so I can add new ones. So, new topic, 1, and then maybe I'll add another one as well, so new topic 2. If I want to get rid of some topics, I can do so by clicking on the minus. Once I'm happy with my topics, I can click on Done and move to this next step. In this step, we ask you about the files that will be required to upload. Authors, when submitting their abstracts, will be asked in the initial phase what type of files they should be submitting. Will it be Word documents or will it be PDFs? You have to make your decision. We have a box that allows you to provide guidelines to authors when they're preparing their paper. They will need some instructions such as the format they should be using, the length of the abstract, how many pages, and maybe you've got some templates that you've pre-prepared for them to follow. This is the initial phase, and this is before the peer review has been completed. Down below, we ask you about the final phase, when the peer review is completed and only accepted abstracts will be asked to upload their final submission. We ask you again, what sort of format files do you want to accept? And what are the guidelines they should follow? We also ask you whether or not they should upload the source files that they use when preparing the initial paper. And finally, do you require that delegates upload a copyright disclaimer? Some conferences will require that as they're published with major publishing houses. Once you're happy with your selection on files, you click Done and get taken to the final step of our paper submission setup workflow, and that is the guide for authors. Here we provide you with a space that allows you to give specific instructions to authors when they're preparing their papers. This might include things like the abstract length, formatting rules, or templates that you should use. Once you provide some guide for authors, you can click on the Done button down below. And once you do that, you finish the workflow that is designed to set up your paper submission. At this point, delegates can now submit papers to your conference. If you have any problems at all, or any questions on anything I've just shown you, please feel free to send us an email at support@xordo.com.